What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live duo review here on the Beer PaTroll Daddy. And today, I'm once again joined by Todd, who totally doesn't have a channel.
Because I suck like that, you know.
You gonna get a channel at any point, Todd?
I can't give away all my secrets.
Oh, he probably never. But anyway, Todd enjoyed. We did Hunter and Coconut Hunter from 18th Street Brewery a couple weeks ago, and Todd enjoyed it so much. I was like, "Hey, you want to do a Oktoberfest beer? Because I have a shit ton of them, and I figured I'd do one live." And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Which one?" And I said, "Let's do Samuel Adams Octoberfest from the Boston Beer Company out of Boston, Massachusetts. Obviously, this is the 2018 edition. I have it in a can.
And I have it in a bottle.
So, totally not the same beer at all because it's going to totally change it. But we both have the same freshness. Best enjoyed by February of 2019. So, I mean, we should be good to go. It should be. This beer comes in, and one thing about Sam Adams, they put the information on the can or bottle. 5.3% alcohol by volume and 16 IBUs. And Todd and I have had this beer plenty of times before. We've had it. We've lost count, but we both enjoy it. We think it's a pretty tasty beer as far as an American Märzen style Oktoberfest goes. So we're gonna crack it open, get in the glass. I'm using a can.
And I'll say I haven't had it for a while, so I don't think I had it last year at all. Of course, I'm kind of like you. I don't really seek out the Oktoberfest. Not my favorite. The Märzen's not my favorite style of beer, but I don't dislike them. It's just not one I go towards or seek out too much.
I agree. I'm doing a lot on my channel right now. I poured this like an animal and poured it all over my laptop and everything. So awesome times. No big deal though. Got a rag, clean it up. Yeah, but this is a beer like you said. I haven't had it. Didn't have it last year, year before. But I was telling Todd offline that Paul over at PA Brew News, Matt over at Mass Beer Reviews, and myself in 2014 Labor Day, we did a blind Oktoberfest, and this was the winner. So
sorry, dog's barking.
It's all right, baby. So yeah. Anyway. Pours out with 75 fingers ahead if you're an idiot. Maybe Todd poured it a little. Oh, look at that. Perfect.
Mine didn't have much at all. It kind of dissipated very quickly. But I didn't give it as aggressive pour as you did, I don't think, either. So
I was a bit aggressive, but, pouring it out of the can, maybe it was the difference. Probably not. It was probably on this guy. But, yeah, it pours out the amber lager color, right? I mean, it looks like every single other Märzen-style Oktoberfest. So. Nose on it. Grainy. Bready.
Yeah, definitely get some sweet maltiness to it. Some breadiness to it.
Yeah, definitely. Caramel toffee. Your typical standard Märzen.
Getting some of the pumpkin spice type aromas to it as well.
Really? I'm not picking up on any pumpkin.
Are you not?
No, because Oktoberfest, they don't, it's just straight up, the German purity law mostly. So malts, hops, yeast, and water. They don't really put spice in there. But if you're getting that, I mean, by no means am I saying you're wrong, baby. Could you get what you get?
No, I agree with you though. Yeah, you're right. Normally you don't, but I'm getting it a little bit more on the nose.
I feel like I'm getting a spiciness that is more akin to like a spicy hop character, like a spicy noble hop.
Yeah, I could buy. I go with that.
But I mean, it smells like so many typical Märzen styles. I mean, you have the sweeter malt, a little bit of spiciness. It doesn't smell anything like earth shattering, but it smells like it should smell. It smells similar to every other year I have Sam Adams Octoberfest.
Yeah. And I would say, like I said, we were talking earlier. It's one of the first Oktoberfests that I gravitated towards when I first started drinking craft beers, and used to be one that I'd kind of look forward to year just to see how it would change. Some years seem like you'd get a little more of the pumpkin flavor to it, and other years, not a huge difference, but it was enough to where you kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna try it this year and see what we're getting. But like I said, I haven't really had it in the last year or so.
There's definitely from year to year, it seems like there's batch variation. We were talking offline. It could also be our palates from, the first time we've had it to the next year, and your palate changes every every 9 months or whatever they say. But at the same time, I feel like, the malts might be different from year to year. The hop, crop might be different. So, you're probably going to get some variation to it. But anyway, let's get into it. Todd, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's crazy smooth and just like super easy to drink.
Yeah,
well,
it's kind of almost a creaminess to it a little bit.
Yeah, and I will say this though. Now I've drank a couple Oktoberfest this week that I posted, and I've also done 2 or 3 that will be posted this weekend, next week. My palate has obviously changed in 4 years from when we did the blind taste testing, because when we did the blind taste testing, this was superior to the most that we did over on Pulse Channel. Drinking this now, though, this is kind of hitting me as more of like a beginner Oktoberfest or very like subdued Oktoberfest. It's very smooth, but at the same time, there's really not a ton going on here.
No.
Very malt
kind of your basic, Oktoberfest, I guess you could say. Nothing that just knocks you down or keeps you going. Oh, I can't wait for that for next year. I got to have more. Yeah,
I mean, it has like roasty, toasty characters, like toasted malt, toasted bread, the caramel toffee, but they're very, very light. Like it's, if you're being honest, which we're trying to be, like it's very subtle, super subtle.
Yeah, I don't hate it by any means. And it's very drinkable, sessionable even. Not that I'd want to drink a ton of these in one sitting or anything, but
it's not overly sweet too, which I think adds to the drinkability. Like there is enough of that like spicy, like floral, almost herbaceous bitterness that kind of cuts it halfway through. On the back end of the palate, finishes semi-dry and not overly sweet. So I get why a lot of people drink this style, and certainly why people like this each year, because you could, at 5.3%, you could throw back a shit ton of these and not really have to worry about it.
It's kind of, I would think that would be more something you could come out with annually. I don't really get a lot of why it's more like pumpkin Oktoberfest type thing or whatever. I don't know. I know it has to do with the heritage and the festivities and this, at the time or whatever, but.
Yeah, they released all the Oktoberfest for the official Oktoberfest celebration in Munich, Germany. That actually starts tomorrow. But all these beers start coming out in like August, so it's crazy. I personally get why people love this. There's certain people that love the style. I get like why they do it. It's very akin to liking like just a regular lager. Why people enjoy lagers over ales, or maybe not a huge fan of hop forward beers, so they want something that's. These are easy to drink. These aren't going to overwhelm your palate. These pair easily with food. There's nothing really much to speak of here. They have nice flavors, very subtle, but they're not going to blow out your palate or anything. You could drink a 6-pack of this watching football on a Sunday, and you're fine. You can catch a little buzz, have a good time, whatever. But I know, as you said earlier, and myself, it's not one of my favorite styles. It's just something that I only usually pick up a few each year, but now with the channel and whatnot, I've picked up like 10 of them this year, and I'm reviewing them. And as I'm going through them, I'm appreciating the style more and more. But at the same time, it's still not one of my favorite styles, and it'll never be, just because you're subjective. Everyone has personal preferences, and mine is that the style isn't my favorite.
Right. Yeah, I kind of fall in the same lines as you do there. It's not that I dislike them. It's just not one that I seek to try to have on a regular basis, or this time of year anyway. Yeah. It's kind of nice. Our local, I was telling you guys last week on Rod's show, if anybody was watching, we did one of our local bottle shops here does an annual Oktoberfest pumpkin beer tasting, free to the public. And there's like 30 different types of beers on hand. And so I kind of get my October and
pumpkin beers,
pumpkin ale type, from that. I usually go that every year. I do kind of look forward to it. But, after that, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm done. I'm over it. Might buy 1 or 2 bottles, pick up the Schlafly pumpkin ale, and maybe a couple others just because I hate to go to something free like that and leave there empty-handed.
Yeah, I can see that. We have quite a few comments now. Jesus. Craig, Kent Beer Review says, hello, gents. What's up, Craig?
What's up, Craig?
Eric Gilbert also says cheers. Cheers, Eric.
Cheers.
And then Paul comes in spamming like he always does. He says WTF. What the F indeed. Then he says millennialsdrink.com. That's just Todd. He said both of our palates are stupid. Yes. He says you need Oktoberfest to get over hangovers. That's Paul. That's Paul referencing the aforementioned blind taste test. Paul actually came out, wasn't feeling good the next day because we did it on a Sunday, and the night before we drank a bunch of beer, and he drank a lot of beer. He went and threw up and came back and did the blind taste testing and was good to go. So yeah,
that's kind of his thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, y'all, that is Paul's thing. Drink a lot of beer. And he did it.
Puke and rally.
Puke and rally. That is Paul in a nutshell. Paul says they're all basic, Todd. Talking about Oktoberfest, they're all light and boring and basic. And then Lee says, guess the beer already. Sorry, we're not the king like you, Lee, but you guys did do a good job, you and Nick. That was solid. I enjoyed that. Paul also says annually is once a year because apparently somebody said something that was incorrect, but maybe not. He said fucking millennials, so I think he's talking to you, Todd.
Yeah, probably so. I think it probably was me.
And then it might have been, I don't know. And then he says,
"You never messed up, Joe, so it couldn't have been you."
I fucking my entire channel's a mess up. Paul says this style is it really the style of Oktoberfest? Oktoberfest style is much more bold, rich, and savory. Is more of the world view of Oktoberfest. Paul, see, I'll disagree with you because you've done the research before, I'd imagine, but at the actual Oktoberfest celebration, fest beers are the beer that they sell at Oktoberfest. And they're usually slightly bigger in ABV, but they're way more mellow. I actually have Paulaner's Oktoberfest Märzen and their Wiesen tomorrow coming out, and I do a comparison. And the fest beer they sell at the fest is the fest beer that they sell there, and it's for the simple fact that they want people to drink more of it. Less filling, lighter in color, not as bold and rich and savory. The fest beers are actually way easier to drink and not as deep as far as like the malt component to it. So you're wrong, Paul. You're fucking wrong. It's all right, though. You usually are. Eric Gilbert says Sri Lanka and call it a day. The smoked German lagers that everyone loves. And then Paul from Bay Brew News says Eric wins. And I think he means Eric Gilbert and not you, Todd. I think he's referencing you as a millennial today and not Eric, which is a positive, I think, this time. Rainy Iron Parade says, how's that dirty, wet cardboard tasting?
Dirty, wet cardboard.
Yo, this is an adjunct lager, Rainy Iron Parade. We're going to need you saying. And then Joel, Jaded Diva Reviews and Tours says, hi, Joe. Cheers. What's up, Jaded? Thank you for checking out the stream of Sam Adams. It's all right. Solid. Nothing wrong with it. And then Ewart, a.k.a. Teku Murray, shows up and says, WTF is this shit? Can a bitch get an invite? No. No, you can't, Ewart. Sorry. You don't want to drink Samuel Adams Octoberfest anyway, do you, Ewart? I don't think so. And then he says, being a know-it-all about Oktoberfest beers is akin to being know-it-all. I don't know shit about Oktoberfest beers, and what I'm saying is probably incorrect. But as far as I can tell, Paulaner developed the fest beers in the 70s for the actual celebration because people thought that the actual Martins were a bit too heavy and filling. So, I mean, whatever. I'm probably wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm always wrong. But then again, at the same time, you're never right. So I guess
it's a battle.
Yeah. And Jada Davis says funny stuff going on here. That's my comment section is nothing but Ewart and Paul trolling the comments. And then you sometimes get Lee and Nick in here. Nick shows up and goes, not as much fun when you know what the beer is. The beer is going into it. Correct. Correct. It's all about mystery beers, nothing else. Mystery, whodunits, all of that.
That's the rage. That's the it thing now.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jaded says he really knows his shit. No, I don't, Joe. I don't know anything. Don't ever watch my channel. It's terrible. But we have fun, and that's all. Chris from on the 10 says, hi, guys. What's up, Chris? And then Ewart says something I actually agree with. He says, Sri Lanka was a grim reminder that fucked smoked beers. And I agree. I do not like smoked beers. Now, Paul, on the other hand, might want to fight Ewart because of that comment, because that's what Paul's all about, but to each their own. Paul says,
I'm not a fan of the smoked beers either too much.
But Paul says, yeah, because beer culture in Germany was developed in the 70s. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is the original style of Oktoberfest, which was the Märzen style, developed back in 1810 for the original celebration, is the ones that the U.S. markets. You're right, Paul. The U.S. markets, we get all of the fucking the exported Märzen style because that's what people clamor for apparently in the States. At the same time, when Paulaner developed that in the 70s, they basically went for something that Oktoberfest lasts a couple weeks. People want to drink beer day and night, pair it with food, and they wanted something that was much easier to drink. I get why they did it, but I can honestly say up until I did the comparison between the two Paulaners, I never had a true fest beer in my life. Even though, like, Victory's fest beer, the name of the beer is fest beer. It's not a fest beer. It's a Märzen. So, at the end of the day, does it really matter? No. Back to this beer. We'll read the last couple comments after it. So, Samuel Adams Octoberfest. What do you think, Todd? Rating out of 5, Untapped rating, whatever you want to call it. What would you give it?
I'd probably go about a 3.5.
This motherfucker stealing my rating. No, I'd give it a 3.5 too. It's a solid representation of Märzen style, but at the same time, it's more of like a beginner Märzen, if anything. Like it has nice flavors. It's like medium bodied, crisp, clean, refreshing, caramel toffee, lightly toasted malts and toasted bread. It kind of falls within the style. At the same time, it's kind of boring. But then again, if you're Paul or a lot of people in the chat right now, I guess that's the style in a nutshell. So,
well, kind of falls in line with most of the Sam Adams stuff.
Yeah,
goes with the style. Nothing over, out of the box. Nothing is just gonna, blow your hat off or anything. But they're not terrible, but they're not outstanding either.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's the way I look at it. It's a style that I get why people enjoy it, but for me personally, I'd rather drink a lot of other styles than this. But at the same time, I can't complain. Yeah, I mean 3.5 out of 5 is fair. Paul, I like how you're giving me shit. This beer, Paul, won our blind taste test, so your palate's just as dumb as mine, and you know it. So, and Matt's can be included in that because clearly it was all three of us. Read the last couple comments here. Eric Gilbert says Märzens are still better than Kolsch's. Are they though?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know, Eric. Maybe for you they are. I probably don't want to drink either. But then if Ryan from Beer by the Numbers ends up watching this or shows up at any points, he loves Kolsch's and he loves Märzens because he loves German style beer. So he might try to fight somebody at some point, and I wouldn't blame him. Nick says beer culture in Germany was developed in the 1500s. Nick, just stop knowledge.
Spitting game.
Chris disagrees with Eric's opinion of Märzens being better than Kolsch's. Ewert tells me, "Shut up, Terrio." Ewert, this is why I don't invite you to live shows, okay, buddy? And then Eric says nobody ever said that was a tasty Kolsch. No, I mean, I think some people have. Probably not Bo's lug tread, though, or logo tread, as some people will say. Chris says to each their own. And then Paul says Oktoberfest beer is just full of drunk Australians at this point in time. They just... That's pretty hilarious. I like that. Paul says they're all baby palate beginners. And then he says hi to Chris. Chris says hi, bud, back. Joel from Jaded Diva says SA stands out a bit because it's sweeter. I will say this does have a little bit... there is a balance. I do think it has a balance, but it is a bit sweeter than some of the ones I've been reviewing lately and that I'm going to be posting next week. This definitely has a more of a malt backbone that's more in like the caramel toffee sweetness. It doesn't really distract too much from the drinkability, but it definitely is sweet.
Yeah, it's not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think.
Yeah, I would agree. Drunken one shows up. Or no, okay, so then Ring Air Praise says, I think Chris has a teenager palate now. He is upgraded from baby palate to teenager. Drunken one, somebody say baby palate. Drunken one appears when someone says baby palate. I am alarmed, but also makes sense. Eric Gilbert says, alt beer is better than both fuck-flavored Kolsch. Eric, I don't like you anymore. Alt beers are the worst style of all styles in the history of this world. Get out of the chat! Paul says, I think it might be degrading to an infant palate now. Maybe. Nick says, good timing to Drunken one. Ewart says, Rainier Parade has a paralyzed palate, no sense, terrible commentary. We might have some scraps in the comments. I'd like to see this happen. Paul says, rather a fetus palate. Nick, hashtag I'm not reading that, Nick. Not reading that. And then Chris leaves us with, this is where I'll end this conversation. Chris says, Rhino engaged, discussed. Or discuss. We're not going to, I'm not going to discuss that. Sorry, Chris, no discussion of that. But I appreciate everybody stopping by for the live review, even if it was Samuel Adams Octoberfest, and we might have a brawl at some point in the comments. Nick, if you do start a chat later on, I'll definitely join. Todd and I will probably talk offline for a bit. But if you have any kind of hangout going on, let me know. And last two comments. This last two comments I'm going to read for real. Eric says, "Damn tasty Kolsch." Nobody ever. Yes, Eric, I know, but no one ever said that about malt beer either. And then Paul says, "I had a tasty Kolsch in Bonn, Germany," and I'd imagine you did because it was actually in Germany and it was probably authentic. So appreciate everybody stopping by. Huge thanks to Todd. I mean, Todd doesn't review beer, and we know why. You see how terrible this was. It wasn't just Todd though; it was me. We were both terrible. But
it's just a mess. That's why. Yeah. I mean, we got a terrible channel in yours. There's no point in having two of us. So
that's right. We can't. You're not going to double down on the shit channels. There's just no point in it. No. If there's people out there like, I know you're joking around. If you want to join at some point to actually like do a duo trio review of something that you can get weekend. I've had Paul on the channel, which I highly regret, but I'll probably bring him back because I'm an idiot. I like doing duo reviews, trio reviews. It's a lot of fun, especially when everybody can get the beer and you don't have to kill someone to do so. Thanks again to Todd for fucking up my channel. Appreciate it, sir. More so than
I try my best. I try my best.
So that was Sam Adams Octoberfest, 3.5 out of 5. If you see it in your area, and that goes for every fucking person in this world, because this is basically all over the world at this point. Probably, everyone's had it. I don't even know why I say pick it up. Fuck it. Just whatever. You've all had it. We've had it. It's properly reviewed terribly on my channel. We're done. So until the next one, cheers, everybody. 2 thumbs up, except for Paul. 2 thumbs.
Cheers.
I almost left the call like a Nick. Holy shit, that would have been terrible.